Back in my day, I could pull out my phone, go on a delivery app, do grocery deliveries all day and not feel entitled for a tip and not spit in people's foods or cause chaos at the door. And at the end of the day of all that hard work, I could have my own apartment in San Diego, California. Man, life was good. I was so young, Billy.
Grandpa, you're not even that old. In fact, you're in your 30s.
Well, Billy, I feel old. I might as well be old with how fast times have changed before 2020 and this coronavirus that they used to call back in my early days. But now, all I see are fucking robots and surveillance and smartphones and digital technology everywhere.
We are not even on the second month of 2026, and we are already re-experiencing 2020. First, there was that superflu that went around on New Year's Eve, which I caught. Then it faded away after a week. Then came that ICE protest about some ICE agent shooting a innocent mother with kids, interfering with their work. Now a protest is going on countrywide with tear gas and shit everywhere. Now it's happening here in Cincinnati and countrywide. People are talking about it nonstop. A protest that started in Minneapolis and is now happening countrywide over police and federal agents. Wow, where the fuck have I heard this shit before? Oh yeah, that's right, George Floyd in 2020. Man, history just repeats itself. Let's go travel back in time when shit wasn't weird and our economy was good and I was young and stud with no gray hair or back pain.
So now that it is 2020, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to finally start committing to make that change you said you want to do New Year's Eve? Or are you just going to do the same thing every day and then complain about how things aren't going to go your way? You see, don't rely on external motivation.
started playing that San Diego song. It is kind of crazy how I can play it like it was yesterday, even though I look back and, God, that was the end of January 2020, and shit, that was 6 years ago. And just seeing how this re-experience of superflu, which was COVID, and this ICE protesting going on in Minneapolis and now soon countrywide, it's just nostalgia like 2020 and the recap timeline. I'm like, man, I figured why not make this video talking about how great the music channel got. I've just been so burnt out from inflation, workflation, shitty jobs, and no affordable living, and losing it all, living in a basement. So I'm just a little burnt out and demotivated to like kind of make videos like this, you know, just talking and looking back at the past when you were young and cool and sexy and stunned. And you're just like looking at yourself like, man, I had my own apartment in San Diego, California, a job that I loved every day, and being in the best shape of my life, being a stallion, and just overall ambitious with the future of starting a business. And it's just crazy how this is how I live now. It's so depressing. So I just had like no energy whatsoever. So let's just get right into it.
Summarize how my year went. To make a long story short, I finally left that toxic ex-girlfriend, packed up, ran, didn't say a word. Then I quit that dead-end job at the airport, which was the best decision I ever made. Then I started that tech job, which I recently quit. Then, at that point, I said to myself I wanted more out of life. You know, not materialistic, just people who like music or what I do in life. And people in Cincinnati, they didn't do that for me, so I had to leave. Trust me, it was scary. You know, people don't leave their shitty girlfriends or where they're at for the most part, and when they do, they come back. You know, I wanted to just figure it out.
So to sum up the story, as the microphone to that camera was broke after it was being dropped about 4 feet high multiple times when doing deliveries and stuff, I basically made a video talking about how great the year of 2019 was, which it really was. It was like the greatest time in human history to be alive compared to what we're dealing with today. So everybody else would always talk about how it's the New Year's same old shitty me and all that nonsense on Facebook. So I wanted to be a minority. After I got a haircut when walking around downtown San Francisco, I just pulled out my phone and talked about how great the year 2019 was out of nowhere. I didn't even script or plan it, I just opened it up and was just being me. I let my vibrations run wild, and as I was just talking about how great the year was, I was just being authentic as possible, and I was just doing me. And after I published it, not even 10 minutes later, I was getting messages from people in San Diego saying, wow, you live in San Diego too? I saw your video just now and it was so inspiring, full of stories. You are a brave person, all that stuff. Soon after, I was getting multiple friend requests from people around the world. I was getting hundreds of followers and friend requests. Like, this video basically was at the peak of me being what they are called influencers today. You know, back in these times, we didn't have digital garbage, is what I call it. Like, YouTube shorts seeing the same shit over and over and all that motivational crap you see. You know, this was like real stuff. Like, no microphones, no scripts, no editing, no digital backgrounds like you see today. Like, it's authentic and raw. And I was at the peak of like becoming a famous influencer. And so I was feeling good as I just continued walking around San Francisco. I was just making every day count the best I can as usual. And then I was thinking about going on that tower in San Francisco, the observation deck, but I didn't have time for that. What a shame. I look back and wish I did, because San Francisco looks nothing like that anymore. So it was a nonstop drive back to San Diego after 9 hours, I think. No staying at a hotel like midway like I used to. I just drove straight down there. I could play that forever. Definitely brings back days of when I was young and times were normal and the best of its life and the universe has seen its history. Just compared to what it is now anyway. God fuck. You know, back in these days, I had a job that I loved every day. I had my own apartment of my own with no help. I lived 30 minutes from like one of the greatest beaches in like the world and one of the most laid back areas ever, you know, for that matter. I really just had a lot of hesitation making this video, I'm not gonna lie. It's just that it's so cringe to look back at what life was like 6 years ago, right before COVID hit. God, it was just like a fucking light switch, so it's really hard to observe everything. So to begin, I made a New Year's resolution video, which got me more popular. And the New Year's resolution video isn't anything special. It's basically a ripoff of what Jeff Cavalier from athletex.com was saying. You know, I was basically saying, like, you are just being externally motivated by things that don't matter, and then you figure out what needs to be internally motivated to change it. Basically what Jeff was saying in the athletex video back in like 2016, I really just wanted to pass it on, and I put it in my own words. And I remember I was going more viral, and I was like really at the peak of it, like every step up towards an influencer. And I was really happy and excited at this time because I felt like all the things were finally starting to pay off, and especially when I was just doing my own thing. And it made me feel, you know, like a superstar kind of feeling, you know, take selfies. And it would get like 50 likes in an hour, and the moment you post anything, a picture of yourself, you know, it gets likes.
Oh shit.
More videos about similar topics, like motivational topics like Rob Dial and Jay Shetty were doing back in their time. And right after I just started to not talk about New Year's and just talk about more of how I got ahead in life without any bullshit and help. And I was basically talking about how I took a leap of faith leaving a toxic relationship at the time. And I was like, just imagine that. And that's how I went through and did this. That was kind of when I just started to die out. I don't even have like the video anymore, so I don't know when this was. I think it was like maybe a week after New Year's, and that was when a lot of like the people who were like flooding and coming in and messaging kind of started to flop. You know, like your typical New Year's resolutions, you know, like the day after New Year's, it doesn't mean much of anything. I mean, shit, it's not even the end of January. Has your New Year's resolution for 2026 been like moving ahead, or is it the same shit as like the other years? You know, it's like I said, New Year's resolution doesn't mean a fucking thing. Most people are like saying on New Year's Eve, yes, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, I'm going to make change, but then you just see like it's March and you're like, God, man, what was I supposed to do again? You know, that external motivator is long gone. That's basically what I said in the video, and nobody did anything I talk about in it. So after that, it's a bit blurry during this timeline. I remember I was posting guitar videos right at this time, mostly my old ones from like 2019. I was just playing random notes, maybe pieces of songs, and I just put parts of it on a Facebook original with the other videos. And out of all of them, my most popular one was the Colorado song. Got about nearly a foot of snow here, and also looking at my memories, 6 years ago today was when I started writing one of my newer songs for 2020. It's been about 6 years since I really last played that song. There was no title to it, there was no song written about it. It was really just played out of the blue. I was in the apartment in the bedroom just staring at the window where I could see the roads, the colorful Mexico buildings and houses with the trees around, and seeing the mountain at the very end. Just picturing like being on that mountain, flying a spaceship, what's at the other end of it, just having adventures. You know, you're stuck in your apartment. The money at your delivery jobs are kind of lagging. You're going to be behind on rent. You know you're not making good money, and you just feel like you're trapped in a jail cell because you can't go anywhere, you can't go to the beach, you can't do anything. But your mindset believes in what you say about yourself. So you believed you were in limitations and all that stuff, and eventually just became a reality. I was actually on the phone with my uncle at the time saying I felt like my place was a prison. I'm sure I'll call him later and talk about it, so if he wants to see it on my channel. So there was really nothing really into it. It was just something I thought of out of the blue, and it was played a couple of times. It was on a couple of my traveling videos. It was on the original recap for 2020 during the lockdowns at the year. It was played on one of my traveling videos for Morro Bay, Los Osos vacation spot, because I really just couldn't think of a song for it. In 2022, the same notes were played on E flat half step down, and eventually that became the song for the Popham Beach Sunrise when I was there for the autumn road trip on October 2022. January 29th, 2020 was the day the iconic California song was created. It was right at the end of the month. I had $300 under my name and rent was due of $1,640 within a couple of days. I was in panic. I felt defeated. I didn't know what was coming up ahead. I felt like I was terminated from living in the apartment from eviction, so I wanted to write a song about my tribute of living in San Diego and all the adventures I had. So I would picture like being in Torrey Pines, the coast of San Diego, just driving around doing deliveries in Poway from back to the coast. The same route that I took all the time from Torrey Pines, or the curvy hill with the Mission Beach at the end of the view with the pier. You know, all that stuff. And right before I wrote the song, I actually had a huge bowl smoked in my car and then played the guitar. And it was in the dark in the bedroom. I had the phaser turned on and I just played away. I don't know why I kept the phaser on. I cannot remember. Even to this day, I don't know. I think I was doing a compilation of what it would be like with the phaser turned on, with the other pedals turned on and off into a song. I was just in the moment with it. I didn't plan it. I didn't script it. I just played it. Thank God I recorded it because, man, I could never play it the same way again. I did a bunch of other versions and mixes of it on clips and audio recordings for my traveling videos even the day after, but it was never played the same way as it originally was. The second clip I played the day after was the closest thing I could get to it, and even then it wasn't the same as the original. So this song is pretty authentic to me. It's one of the iconic songs I played. It was my first realistic song. This was recorded long before I even did the idea of the California music video I did 3 weeks later. It was recorded before all those video clips you saw in the video were even done. What's crazy is in August, when I first made the video, it all just blended in when I put it all together. There's really not much to say about this song. It was the first week of February 2020, right after I was struggling to pay rent. I was trying to get it out of my mind, so I was trying to write new music. This one came out of nowhere at like the last minute. I really don't know why it was called San Francisco or why it was called a project for San Francisco. I guess it's got the Wild West vibe to it where they all flock out of the deserts. I don't really know. It sounded really catchy. It had a great riff to it. But it was just a draft. I am really not able to remember much of it. I only played that song once or twice and recorded 2 or 3 videos of it. There's really not much to say about this song. This is the original clip of it. It's kind of like the Poway clip I had the year prior when I was on the ranch fields. got the Wild West vibe me right now after talking about 2020 again, especially the first week of February. It was such a different time back then. You know, we didn't have social media on our phones every second, not scrolling through stupid shit on TikTok. People writing stupid shit to you, like bots and shit like that. TikTok brain, you know, all that shit. It's just crazy how this is at a different timeline when TikTok wasn't a thing. Man, it's just, I'm like one of the few who can still remember fucking 2020s. Everybody's brains are just so fucking fried from TikTok and all these shorts they watch and other digital garbage. So to begin, it was first week of February. I was trying to catch up on rent. I was back at Instacart. I would rather make like 125 so a day versus 75 or none, because it was such a gamble with Postmates when I was doing it at the time. I remember the landlord was messing with me. There was a note at my door when coming home, and it said 3 days to pay or quit notice. And I was just freaking out at this time, and I was just so paranoid, because like I remember the next morning after that, the refrigerator light in my apartment kitchen went out, and I thought the landlord literally shut off my power.
I literally thought the landlord shut off my power because when I didn't use the lights on that day, the fridge light wasn't working. It didn't feel so cold or frozen on the freezer, and I was like, oh god, no. And this was right after the 3-day pay or quit notice happened, and it did kind of bring some stress into me, you know. I was just stressed I wasn't even there. It turned out in the end he was just fucking me. He's like, oh good, I knew that would help you pay me. And then I was like, wait, what the heck? And then after that I paid the rent, we cracked a joke of it, and then went to San Francisco right after that.
So let's just get on with it. So I was doing deliveries in San Diego, all around the county, doing everything I can to stack up money. Something came into me at the last second, I don't really know. Something told me to go to San Francisco and go back to San Diego and do like a music video. At this time I started creating my music. I was thinking, as I'm doing deliveries, I'm like, this is like one of the only places in the world, you know, where you get these kinds of landscapes and scenic drives, and I'm here at this time. So I was like, let's make a music video of my experience and my way of driving up to San Francisco, having walks in the downtown area and all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge, and being a pedaling with my uncle up there, and being up in Santa Rosa. You know, I just thought of all these things, and then I was like, how about I drive back down south to San Diego and just watch it change and get hotter as you go down south. I thought that would be the coolest shit ever. And unfortunately, this is where things took a turn for the worst.
I decided to go to San Francisco out of nowhere and do this California music video. On my way up there, I was getting all the footage I could. I was in the middle of doing deliveries in the county, and out of nowhere in the middle of the day, I decided to just head straight up to San Francisco. And the footages you're seeing right now are just from when it was rainy months prior. I don't really have many footages outside of my apartment. Recording my areas all around me every second like I did in my newer videos, that really wasn't a thing for me. This was the beginning of when it started to become a thing, so there really wasn't much footage being there. Also doesn't really help that nothing was really going on at this time, you know, like no events, no live shows or concerts, and now I just started heading out, and then I'm heading up north towards Fallbrook and the rest area I used to sleep at in my car before I got the apartment. I don't remember exactly where this part was. It's right between leaving San Diego County and San Clementon, and you're just watching the sunset with the palm trees out or the coast right far from you. And then I'm up north in Irvine, and after that I was in Fresno overnight, and then on my way up I was in this area that's all desert in the summertime. I don't know where exactly this area was. I think it's the 101 towards San Francisco. I remember as I got to downtown San Francisco, the music video was already begun. On this day was going to the Golden Gate Bridge and just walking around downtown in between with pictures and getting everything I could. There was so much to do with such little time. This was literally, I think, 5 days before COVID hit. I really can't remember exactly. I was just walking and getting all the footage I could of the downtown skyline and being in the city. I can guarantee a lot of these footages do not look like this anymore. You probably see homeless people sleeping everywhere, rats, poop, pee, trash, graffiti, abandoned buildings, and plywood on the walls. Looking third world to probably translate it. Like, San Francisco does not look like America anymore as of 2026. I can guarantee that this footage is probably worth millions in the future, which is how different it is and how fast it happened. I was up in Filbert Street, the steepest street of downtown San Francisco. I was heading up there on the process to finding the street. I got some footages in between on the way. You would see this in so many movies, like Ant-Man was seen in other 90s movies, Getting Even with the Kid or something like that. Macaulay Culkin, that guy from Cheers, I don't know exactly. Anyway, this is the street, Filbert Street, the steepest street. It is so steep you can just hear me running out of breath. Even after being gut and studded like a stallion, it was difficult. The street is so steep, by the way, you have to go up a set of stairs and the cars can't park parallel. They have to park perpendicular like dominoes. So steep. This is the view at the end. I thought it was an extraordinary view, definitely worth the hike. People from across the country literally drive here from the other side just to go down that hill. This is the picture. Look at all the cable cars. You don't see the cables till you really look at the picture. Here's Lumber Street. I don't really have much footage of Lumber Street. Overrated tourist area. You see it in so many movies and pictures. Why bother? You get the Coit Tower view at the end. I remember I never even knew that person was standing right on my left. She was just so skinny and out of shape I didn't bother to pay attention. And that for sale sign, man, I wonder what that house is worth today. Like, every house in that area on Filbert Street with a steep glide, that was like $1.4 million at that time in 2020. I wonder what it's worth today. These footages are just, my God, waves of nostalgia. Like, you just see that in so many movies, TV shows, and music videos. I don't know what park this is. It was on the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. I was like, whatever, I'll just get whatever footage I can get. I still remember that area like it was yesterday. I remember there was like some kind of factory or abandoned building around there. I don't really know what it was. There's the Golden Gate Bridge at the end, like about 1.2 miles or so. I remember I did a total of like 25,000 steps average. I think one of them I did 28,000 steps. I can't remember. I don't know where this was, but the houses around that area on the left were $5.5 million at that time in mid-2019. And it is such a public park. You would see in so many movies and TV shows. It's one of the few areas that didn't even look third world at the time. And I remember I had so many memories walking there. There's the Golden Gate Bridge at the end. Crazy thing is, once it gets to sundown or dark, they close the entire bridge at the beginning with a gate. They have nets around it. They have bridge police. I got there right at the time it started closing. So halfway through, and I was getting footage of the skyline like you see now. I was leaning forward to get better footage, but then like bridge police and like a golf cart came up to me, asking me if I was all right, and asking me if I was okay or what I want to do with my life. Like, he was trying to comfort me. I was like, what the hell, dude? I'm just trying to get footage. Turned out the guy was trying to close the bridge, trying to get everybody out. And I felt like he was detaining me or trying to get me to go with him or something. I was like, I had to get out of there as quick as I could. After the deliveries were over, I drive back up to Petaluma to stay the night with my uncle. I was in the middle of doing my California road trip, so I had to get everything done as quick as I could. Look at that nice view outside of Petaluma in the state park on Adobe Road. Get a nice view of the mountain and the open fields around it with nobody around you. Nice, peaceful, and quiet with 7 different sunsets, like you see right here. There are many other different sunsets, but I didn't get them on footage, unfortunately. And then you get the freezing cold mornings like you see here. And this is the road I would take on the way to Santa Rosa to do my deliveries. I was trying to record everything the best I could. I could only record so much and be in so many places. The California road trip was like right at the last minute. So I was trying to get everything the best I could and just look at this scenic view. Like, no big cities or cramped people, just open spaces and mountains, a nice view of the trees and the farmland. Whenever I said I want to go on vacation, this is where I would be most of the time, basically, to get away from Southern California. You know, wide open spaces and nature and laid back environment and people. I like this view of the highway between Santa Rosa and Petaluma. I remember just seeing the open spaces and the mountain at the end. It just felt like driving a spaceship like San Diego. There were just so many footages, I just wanted to keep them all on here the best I could. It just feels like nostalgia seeing this again. It's crazy how this was 6 years ago. I remember just seeing that mountain at the end and being in the middle of the 101, the highway to San Francisco and Santa Rosa. This is downtown Petaluma. I can't really describe what it looks like to me. Maybe Sonora or maybe a small town in Mexico. but it just doesn't quite have the environment of Mexico. It's high up north. I don't remember where this area was in Petaluma. I just remember driving by it all the time. It got kind of boring driving here, but I just recorded it anyway. It was my everyday commute. This is between the neighborhoods and the state park where my uncle was living at the time, and this was the way in and out to the Safeway. So I got this footage the best I could. This is Santa Rosa, right up 20 miles north when I did most of my commutes and deliveries. Santa Rosa was super spread out. I remember everything was like 15 to 20 minute drives per delivery, but yet somehow I was making good money up here, and that's because from what my family were telling me, Santa Rosa is full of wealthy people where they mostly sell their mega $1 million mansions in Southern California and they move up to Santa Rosa and retire for the rest of their life. So they order grocery deliveries because they're sick of the far distances, and they tip really well. But unfortunately, Instacart was understaffed in this area because nobody knows what Santa Rosa or Petaluma is compared to like San Francisco or anywhere in the Bay Area. So there wasn't too many drivers in this area. So every time I come up here, I would make bank and help everybody out. But I was only here for a short amount of time, so everybody got their fair share. At this time, I was more focused on my California music videos, so I was mostly just doing recordings and driving while doing deliveries at the same time. But I didn't get everything on where I was at. I remember being in this area quite a lot. I'm not really sure where in Petaluma it was, or this area. Though this is Santa Rosa, though. The two kind of sort of look alike, I guess. One area just looks darker and greener, more trees, versus Petaluma with wide open spaces and farmland. Santa Rosa is just a country city mixed in together. Santa Rosa, like this video, this image here, super laid back, wide open spaces, farmland with cities and houses mixed in. I would typically live in areas like this, or in areas where it's like open fields and trees with big trucks and ranch-like houses and giant dogs with fences around it. Typical country Northern California. But everybody is like friendly in this area. They have like a heart of gold up here. I remember this part of Santa Rosa, there was like wildfires all the time when I was in one in October, and I got out just in time. It was all over the news, like it was spreading on the fires in Vallejo and the Six Flags up there. This is the highest up North California, I can't remember the town's name exactly. This is a typical picture of what I would see in Santa Rosa. It was like a typical suburban life from like the 2000s and 90s. And unfortunately, right at this time, COVID hits. This COVID pandemic hit so hard that your hat couldn't fit you. Just like that song Biggie Smalls on Going Back to Cali. Now that we're back in Cali, it's kind of ironic. So yeah, this coronavirus outbreak happened out of nowhere. I was going to downtown San Francisco to do some ordinary deliveries, and next thing I know, my app was just blowing up like dynamite. I tried so hard to get the footage of the screenshots of the deliveries and distances and the pay, but I have to update the app on my old phone, and it could not update. But I was ranging like $50 by the hour, including tips, and I was always heading to the Costco. In and out of the Costco all the time. Maybe we can show some footage right here in the parking lot. Welcome to the Costco in San Francisco. As I was in the Costco, everybody was kind of panicking, buying everything in bulk. I thought there was like a secret Black Friday shopping. I don't really know. I mean, I'm a guy who doesn't watch TV or knows anything about the news. I basically live off-grid under a rock compared to most sheep. So I had no idea what was going on, but I didn't really care. I was making good money. Everybody was saying thank you, such high gratitude, such appreciation. It wasn't until about 7 hours in the shift I was informed about coronavirus. Wow, perfect timing. It all just happened so fast. I remember next thing I know, I was delivering in some wealthy and fancy parts of San Francisco right outside of downtown. There were parts I'd never been to before, but they looked like so many movies and shows I've seen. And at the end of the day, I was in the middle of downtown. I got this last picture of myself on the balcony near a Target in the AMC theaters. And man, looking back at this picture, I was built like a stallion. I remember doing 25,000 steps minimum from downtown to the Golden Gate Bridge in the previous photos and going 9 hours south San Diego. I was a machine. I never stopped and kept moving. And I think it was the food I was eating. Whew. Man, we have uncovered a lot for this video. If you are still watching, congrats.
you have a great attention span, because most people probably have exited off the video in less than 5 minutes by now. So, yes, COVID happened. It all happened so fast. It is crazy how that was 6 years ago, as it is now the first week of March as I'm recording this. I have had to go through lots and lots and lots of pot, organically grown, day by day, just to be able to tell this story to this video. It's a little overwhelming and PTSD, like, trying to remember this. You know, it's like I was so young, everything was so good, I had a home, we had affordable living, times weren't fucking weird like they are now. It is kind of crazy. Like, we are on year 6 and counting now of this communist nonsense, where we have very limited freedoms, very limited income, very limited travel, very limited opportunities, limited resources to fresh foods, limited resources to time, very limited resources to just about anything. But yet, we're a free country. Building new houses, new businesses, apartments, and I'm living in a fucking basement. And it seems like the people have also gotten dumber too. After the vaccination mandate in 2021, which will be another video entirely, people have just gotten psychopaths. You know, they laugh at you for not making enough money, and now they just laugh at you for everything. But yet at this timeline in 2020, people were arguing about how everything's too expensive, especially when I was paying my apartment in San Diego. So let's just continue on the video right after I smoke.
Furthermore, I was delivering in downtown San Francisco in the center of the city towards tech businesses. I was having to go up 15 flights of floors and stairs to deliver all this. You can see in this picture right here, there are gallon jugs, packs of water, and groceries in between. Luckily, I invested in a dolly early on before I even got to California. That was really useful in the city, especially downtown San Diego and San Francisco. I would be able to get that all in one trip and go up the elevators, deliver, and come back down, and be able to get it done right on time, be able to make more money as I go. I plan smarter, not harder. Then I got these other extraordinary pictures of San Francisco as I was driving on my last night there. One of my last deliveries right here, I was on the other side of the city, and I can just see the downtown skyline at the other end going down a steep hill. I thought it was one of the most extraordinary pictures I have taken of San Francisco right before I left. And this picture right here, I don't know where it is, but this was my last picture I have of San Francisco. After that, I get back in my car, drive up to Petaluma, get some rest, and then drive straight back down south. I want to add this while I still remember it. I remember the same day on my last day in San Francisco during the COVID outbreak was the same day Instacart was sending all of us messages saying that as of this day on, we will no longer be scheduling you hourly and pick your own hours. It was the on-demand prototype that was around since October, where you can work anywhere at any time and just take whatever's around you. First come, first serve, basically. And I remember after that, I was just like, what is going on? Like, this is some weird thing, man. I missed the 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. have my own schedule and just working routinely. And now it's just pick up, grab what you can and go. And we already know damn well San Diego's oversaturated with delivery drivers. I mean, come on, man. That's what happened to DoorDash, you know. It was oversaturated with drivers. And Instacart at the time was getting like that too. Ah, man. I remember after that, I was making half in less. Then I remember hazard pay stopped right after COVID, and yet it was the deadliest virus in the world at the time. But we're not going to give you the hazard pay. But it's still deadly, you know. You can still die, you can still get sick. We're just not going to give you hazard pay because, well, fuck you. After the drive from Petaluma, I stopped by my vacation beach in Morro Bay, which is also Los Osos as well. This was the view I had of my hotel room for $95 for one night. I was there right on sunset, and it felt like being in paradise. Felt like that TV show Three's Company, or those other TV show where there's surfer boys living on the coastal city with mountains around it and sailboats around. This is my hotel room at the night. You get a nice view of that bay and the rock and the sailboats right out the window. You can even open it more to see all of it. just being in that room felt like being in those TV shows I talked about. This is my view outside of it. And the weather here is kind of a lot like Hawaii, at least what it looks like anyway, but it's actually quite colder compared to San Diego and San Francisco. It was not quite like San Francisco, but it was just as cold. Like, it may look warm on the outside, but it's actually like in the 60s, like 68 average with wet temperatures. It's a nice area to be at with the beach when you're walking around all day. Like, if you don't like the high heat and sunlight, that's your go-to place. It never really gets that hot there. Just look at those views and the trees and the palm trees around it. It kind of just resembles Hawaii or some other tropical country. It's crazy how that was where my hotel room was. It was $95 for that one night. I remember going out to the restaurant right on the corner of it, getting some really nice views of the rock and the ocean and the bay and the mountains around it. Maybe I can show the part right here real quick. And this is more the place of what it looks like the last time I recorded when I was here. It was just my go-to place to take a vacation and get away from the big cities and the Southern California life and vibe. You know, you just want to get away from people and be on the coast of paradise where nobody knows about. I remember playing guitar in my hotel room early in the morning. It was just such a nice view to relax and play music at. And this was the view of it right after leaving the hotel, with that nice green grassy mountains and the wide open spaces, and then the woodsy kind of trails like right on the ocean with no houses or buildings around it. It's kind of like something I would see in the state of Maine in their state parks right near the coast. It was that kind of feeling with it. I remember just that drive there was so extraordinary. It felt like being in a woodsy roller coaster. And then I remember you get right to the trails on the beach, and I can't remember the name of it. It was Montana Diero State Park or something like that, which sounds Cuban from what I've heard. This is the view of it when you get all the way to the ocean. Eventually the road ends at some point, but this is the view of what it looks like. And I remember this is where I had a lot of my pictures of like the sunsets taken at. This is my first time walking on that trail beach. It's too bad I don't have very much footage of me just walking, and I was just focused on getting pictures. The music video of this idea was just so fast, I didn't have 1/10 of any ideas I have now, but this is what it looks like when you walk towards the trail. It's been like so many dreams I've had or TV shows I've seen where it's just grass, trees, and bushes and open land and coastal views with stairs at the end of it. And it was just like this place. It was an extraordinary area. Just all these pictures I have and just the views of it. And I remember I was at this Mexican restaurant that was family owned since I think the 1960s. I can't remember when, but it had some of the best authentic Mexican food you can have, which is that picture right there, the margarita. And this is me walking around the areas. I didn't really care about parking. And I remember going to that liquor store, and that was where I found that vodka bottle. That was a cool picture. All these pictures just look like the neighborhoods of California, the 80s and 70s kind of lifestyle. It was just so clean and paradise, not too crowded, not too crammed. Same with San Luis Obispo next door. And this was me doing a video, but the microphone and the camera went out from being dropped so many times. I basically said, do what you don't want to do, and that, do you think I wanted to work from 10 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night every single day for nearly a year? And then I would go on to say that no, but look where it got me, which was basically this view. And I would say in the end it's $1 million view. And it's crazy that hotel was only $95 for one night. And this is the Los Osos Valley Road that takes you to San Luis Obispo and back to the highway down south to San Diego. That just looks like another planet. There's no other view like that. And I remember this is like right towards the end of Los Osos before you reach San Luis Obispo, about maybe 20 minutes away, I think. I really don't know. Such an extraordinary view, like what you see in Hollywood and the outside of neighborhoods of it or stuff like that. And then this is Pismo Beach, and this is when I start driving all the way down south of California. Just look at the views. Hey, look at that American flag in a state that no longer feels like America. Woo! What a shout out what it used to be. Yeah! Anyway, this is the coastal view, I think the 101 south back down to San Diego. It's such a disappointment that I didn't get all the footage that I wanted, especially the other areas I was at near Southern California with those extraordinary views I had. But I was just focused on watching the environment and landscaping change like you see in these videos. I remember that area was all open land for a long time. This area just seems like something you'd see in the Midwest maybe, but mountains everywhere. It just has the same scenery and grass. And as I'm driving further down south, it just has that look like you see in like Southern California and Santa Barbara. I don't remember where this was, but there was just this area where you had a bridge crossing through the other side of the mountains, which is right in this area somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but I never got footage or a picture of it. This is like on the other side of that mountain, and you're not far from the ocean. And this is Santa Barbara, and I took an amazing picture of that area. This is kind of when you start to see the Southern California landscape scenery with the weather too. This just looks like something you see in like Los Angeles, like Santa Barbara area. This is near Ventura, I think, but Ventura had these amazing mountain-like coastline views, which is the beginning of it right here. I don't remember exactly where, but just look how fast it's changing as you drive only like 5.5 hours or less from San Francisco, and it's just all that's the coastal, and you're on the mountain on the other side. It just looks so different. The fog and the humidity just makes it look like I thought it was smog for the longest time, but it's all the fog from the ocean and the weather change. Man, I remember like the mountains were just getting more and more desert-like or Mediterranean. And I remember near Ventura, where you just have all the mountain coastal-like views. And you got like all those Southern California, Los Angeles looking palm trees. As you go farther down south, it's like 75, when it was previously 55 up north in Morro Bay. And the farther down south you go, the hotter it gets. Then I'm back in San Diego.
This is the actual box you saw in that photo when I came back at the apartment in San Diego. This was the box that my parents gave to me for like variety snacks. I ate them all. We never got really new stuff after that. But I have like old receipts from all the grocery shopping times I had there, and it's just crazy what the prices were like in California at that time. Imagine compared to what it is now. I even had like records of my oil changes I had and work with the car. Even W-2 registrations. Oh, who knew? Random pen, part of a zipper, mechanical work on the car, nail trimmers. There's really nothing special in here besides the grocery store receipts, which I actually made on a video a while back, talking about how you could afford groceries in 2020, and people with TikTok brain were like, source! And I proved them wrong, and nobody watched it.
Man, it's just crazy how this was 6 years ago. It's been so long. I've kind of just letting it all go. I really just want to move on from this incident. Basically, to make a long story short, this was the guy I met on social media and online to be inspired to do my adventures in San Diego when I was stuck at a dead-end job in a toxic relationship and just wanted to overall get the life that I really wanted. And when I found this guy on Facebook originally and saw his videos as far back as 2016, all I saw about this guy was that he started out from a town in North Carolina and that he wanted more out of life, but nothing materialistic, but just more opportunity, and said that the people in his hometown, they didn't do that for him, and that all there was to do was go go-karting and hiking in the cornfields, and then said, so I had to leave. And trust me, it was scary. It was just everything I saw about this video And him being this guy says, oh, I started out with nothing, and I took a leap of faith to Los Angeles, had nowhere to stay, nowhere to go, and nobody to talk to, and basically saying that I had nothing, and then crashed his car from a DUI and wrecked his car. I went to jail for a couple of days. And just blows my mind to see the reality of this douchebag. Basically, a long story short, it's your typical Los Angeles as a person. The guy's like, oh, I did all this and that, and I had nothing around me, and I'm willing to teach you. And then you meet the guy in reality, and he's just nothing like he says he is, and says how he doesn't have to learn shit from you, and says that guitar playing and being a rock star is stupid. And then he's like, I travel all around the world, but yet here I am traveling in like the U.S. alone. I have all these videos and music inspired by it, such as California alone, for example, you know, and San Diego is so much fucking different, you know. We're all laid back. We don't give a fuck about rushing. We don't have to get things done. We're already wealthy. Who fucking cares? Hey, you know, it's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. Let's go to the fucking beach and drink margaritas and drink tequila. You know, that's their mindset in San Diego. You know, it's not grind to start a business, be better than everybody else, and basically this guy is fucking garbage coaching. He didn't teach me what I truly needed to know. He wasn't like teaching me how to build assets and not liabilities, and said, he didn't tell me things like, oh, why don't you like learn to get in real estate or buy property and have that value grow over time and use it as a rental property to have a way to put money in your pocket. And yet this guy owns a real estate business, or so he claims, and that's his work uniform, literally, a hoodie, to gym fucking pants, and a beanie. And this guy's like, oh yeah, I travel all the time, but I'm busy with this and that. I have to answer to my clients and my customers. I have to answer this and that. I'm very busy. My phone's buzzing every 5 seconds. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and you were messaging me saying that you were coming from this area in Iowa, and then I'm coming back here and I'm in fucking Reno. And like, dude, that was getting annoying as hell. And all I was doing was like keeping tabs on the guy, letting him know where I'm at and that where I'll be tomorrow and how much longer it'll take me for him to see him. Because I'm like, I get the feel most people are probably like midway and chicken out and go back home. And I was like, I don't want to be that kind of guy. So I kept tabs to let him know I'm getting closer. And then the guy basically was like, dude, that was getting annoying. And that was like the first day I met him. And I was just like, this is nothing like this guy is on his books and social media. I do have a couple of clips of him where he talks about how like his book is so great and that I don't do anything he talks about in it, or basically I'm just lazy and something's mentally wrong with me or whatever. And then he would go on to say how I talk shit about bartenders, which is actually true. I did talk shit because I was trying to be an expert at making mojitos. I was basically trying to say that I made a mojito the proper way when it seemed like nobody else was able to make it right except for one bartender in downtown Cincinnati. You know, and I was trying to say that, but I was young and stupid and just made it sound like I was better than everybody. Just like the comments you read on your videos, you know? Young and stupid. So to move on to the point, basically nothing about this guy was nothing like he is in his books or on his videos, and then said he sold his property in the down Los Angeles area with the ocean view, and then says I used it for Airbnb at $1,700 a week, which paid my rent, and then would say things like, oh, I love helping people, like seeing all these videos from like when I was in my early 20s, but then I meet the guy in real life and it was nothing like it. It's just like that episode of Hey Arnold where he meets the author of a book he was writing and goes to Elk Island to see her, only to find out she's a total fucking bitch. You know, just like, I want to destroy children's hopes and dreams. Basically, that's just what this guy was, a huge fucking joke who was too fucking corporate about everything and didn't teach you what I need to know. I mean, it's a real story, you know. I got real coaching in fucking San Diego more than anywhere. People, like, everywhere I was doing deliveries to were saying, man, when I was your age, I did this and that, but I wish I did this. Or, man, if I was at your age, I would have done this. Or, hey, at your age, you have the opportunity for this and that. And here's a back view of my house. It's a balcony with an ocean view, a bay park, and downtown San Diego, 20 miles away or so. And it's like, I worked hard at this and not this and worked smarter. That was the realest coaching I ever had was San Diego. Meanwhile, this guy in Los Angeles was just... Los Angeles is a fucking shithole, man. That area is just sick. God, I can feel it in the air. That area just felt like a fucking portal to hell in a kind of way. March 4th, 2020, my last day in downtown Los Angeles. After the session I had with the bartending therapist guy, I was literally walking around the downtown area crying and feeling shitty about myself. This is all the footage I had on my last day downtown. Apparently it was the first time in history in decades that it was the cleanest air quality it had. You can just see how clean the air it is and the sky is. This is right when the COVID outbreak started, likely people were staying at home. I remember walking around the streets of it. It always has the vibe of downtown Cincinnati for some reason. Looks nothing like it, but the infrastructure and designs of the vibe are kind of the same. But this footage just probably history because of just how clean the air quality is alone. I remember in some of the pictures I've had of it, you could see the mountains around it and the Hollywood signs because the air quality was so clean. We'll get to this part later in the story when I drove out of Los Angeles, leaving San Diego, but you could see all the mountains and the clear skies around it. You could see the Hollywood sign, the downtown skyscrapers on the I-5. It was unbelievable. It felt like another planet. Over here, I could definitely not feel the burning sensation on my skin because of the air pollution. You could see everything so much better and clearer. It's unbelievable. I don't think we'll ever see a moment like this again in history. I kind of wish I could get to the observation deck and get some photos. There was that parking garage on the right, the World Trade Center garage. Some of the buildings and skyscrapers here were just quite unique. But I do remember the feeling here overall was a lot like downtown Cincy and many other areas. I mean, people come and go in Los Angeles, so it is no surprise like most cities you are at feel like Los Angeles. I have hundreds of pictures, but this is really all I have for footage. The nightlife here was quite different. I do remember it did feel like it was jumping and hopping, but that was just the vibe of it. But in reality, it was just empty like you see on these videos. Nothing was really going on, as you can see. Los Angeles and California, for that matter, is shrinking. There's really nothing going on. People are leaving more than they're entering. Lights is still on, but nobody's home is the kind of sensation it is. It looked like it was really well developed, at the same time overdeveloped, especially car dependency. It just seems like LA could have been better. So yeah, this is all the footage I really have left of this place. March 6, 2020. My last day on the coast of San Diego doing the California music video. Time really flies, man. This was 6 years ago. Just seeing these videos again is just waves of nostalgia. I remember that coast and the palm trees and those buildings and houses, motels, houses, apartments, rentals, you name it. Then that Pacific Ocean and the waves and the wide open spaces and those buildings where it looks a bit like Mexico. The Pacific Ocean, the sand, and the different kind of lighting angle at it. Man, it was just crazy how that was the shore shack on Rocket Power. And then there's the pier, just like the show Rocket Power. Man, that beach was such a good feel. Rocket Power, some kind of 90s vibe, or 80s for the most part. It's crazy. San Diego just feels like it was last alive in the 1980s and it just died, but its vibe still passes on. That's just the feeling you have in San Diego. It's like the place was so empty. Like, this may have been right at the beginning of COVID, but even before COVID happened, it was empty just like that. Like, there was no huge crowds of people, no live events, no bands like Blink-182 playing, nothing going on, no live festivals, no people going crazy. It was just empty, you know. It was just why that is nothing what I hear about outside of San Diego, you know. Hence why there was really no music videos or any footage of San Diego besides just like 1,700 pictures, because I was just like, dude, this place is so dead and empty, and this place blows. And I didn't really have any footage of me driving or any of these awesome areas, but I was just like, it's so empty. It just felt like a ghost town and isolated. It was just a peculiar feeling. I was like, dude, I need to get out of here, but yet this is like one of the best beaches in the world. And I remember seeing that view a lot, the curvy road and the pier at the end, the Pacific Ocean on mountains, and Torrey Pines. Man, it's just bizarre. This is so many years ago. Then there's that Pisco from Chile that was way different than Peruvian. I was trying to find the Peruvian Pisco. This is my last picture at the apartment, the last pictures I had. No videos of me in there. Wish I had them. And there's the iconic picture of me sleeping on the floor with the camping pad, 2 blankets on top, and a pillow, sleeping flat. And everything cleaned out as best as possible. And that was pretty much all I did after that. This is why this photo is so iconic to me as of now. It's been 6 years. After that, I found the Pisco Peruvian I was looking for. I had to look all around the state, but found it right down the road from San Diego, my apartment. After that, I made some Pisco Sours. Then I made some Pisco Punch, and I got the feel of it. It was really good stuff. Then I was walking around my neighborhood in Poway, getting all these pictures and seeing the rain at this time of the year. This is typically the time of the year it starts to rain around the area, and it's pretty rare. So I got some footage. Then I put my Pisco in the freezer. This was when the people were freaking out buying toilet paper, paper towels, and cleaning products. This is a week after I got back from San Francisco during the COVID outbreak. I was at the Costco right down the road in Ted Williams Parkway, down my apartment in Poway. I do not know what was going on. I lived under a rock. I didn't watch the news. I didn't get with the times. I didn't keep with the rest of society. So on this Instacart order, I was getting the hazard pay of $40 or average, and there was a 40-pack of water I needed, and it turned out to be in the same section as toilet paper and paper towels. So when I was trying to get in there, they locked the area with caution tape, and there was a line all the way down the checkout, which can look like thousands of people. And everybody was just chanting and screaming, and I was just muttering to myself like, come on guys, open this up, I don't have all day. And as again, I didn't know what was going on or why everybody was in this area, and one of the employees literally screamed at me saying if I don't like it I can leave, and that everybody is stressed out and that to wait a minute. And I was just like, sir, first of all, what is going on and why is everybody lined up? Is there like a special deal on this section or something? And as soon as they opened it up, I've never seen this before, but everybody just started swarming in. Even the people who weren't in line, they just started swarming in to grab all the toilet paper they could. Literally, all of these customers had was toilet paper. No groceries, no produce, no pharmacy medications, no gift cards, no batteries, just toilet paper. Some of it was stacked up as high as like 15 feet. All toilet paper, nothing else. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, I did not understand any of this. And soon after, they were buying all the disinfectant sprays, disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, just about everything they could. This was when shit was just starting to get really, really fucking weird. Like, I didn't even understand it because I live under a rock and I don't watch the news or any of that sheep-like forecast. Then after that, I got some more pictures. Then I was back at the Costco, taking a selfie. Man, look how young I was and look how great my hair looked. Man, time really flies, doesn't it? Then there was a sign about this, and no TP, no hand sanitizer, all around the 7-Eleven right at the end of my hometown in Poway. Then I was at the Ralph's right down the road from my apartment that I used to shop at, and look at all these people flocking around the checkouts. Like, everybody was just freaking out, handling inside the building, buying everything they could of a respiratory virus. Yeah, this is our logic. Let's keep safe from a virus, but let's all go into the same building and buy everything we can so we don't get stuck at home with a virus. Oh yeah, that totally makes sense. And we didn't even go on quarantine till what, like 2 weeks later? And so after that, I was playing downtown like nothing happened. Here I am making some money. And this was another San Diego drink I'll get to later. This is pretty much all I did, was just sit in the bedroom, smoke pot, play guitar, eat Mexican food, lay around on the floor, listening to the cars vroom and drive by to the Costco and all the grocery stores they could with everybody freaking out. This is just when everything was getting weird and things were collapsing very quickly. And here I was just standing around doing nothing. Didn't even get around to doing the San Diego music video. What a shame, because, man, if I had at least gotten footage of me walking in Poway, that would have been nice. Oh yeah, and walking on the sidewalk, there was a piece of human shit in the middle of the sidewalk. Thank God I didn't step on it because it was really bad in San Francisco, but now it's in San Diego. These are my last footages and pictures, and this is my Pisco Sour. And there was another sign that was really weird. You couldn't fill your own coffee at the 7-Eleven. Like, everything was just getting so weird. Like, this virus just comes out of nowhere, and it wasn't until like 2 weeks later they start taking action. Like, everything was just happening so quick. I didn't understand any of it. There was the high shelf Pisco that I had, and man, that bottle was so classy. And this is my last footages I've had. This is my last picture of Poway. And man, this is just nostalgia. I really have so much to say. All I can really say is I just cannot believe this was 6 years ago. I had my best friend over that you saw in the video earlier. I invited her to my apartment. It was a rainy night. We were outside the apartment smoking because I didn't want to smoke inside just because of the courtesy. I respected my landlord, didn't want to smoke in the apartment even though pot was legal. We were inside having pisco sours, talking about how fancy this drink is. It's something you would see at upscale bars in New York. Next thing I know, we're sitting on the floor playing music and talking about life, and I would talk about how I'm creative because you have nothing around you and you just have a creative mindset to where you feel like you're the host of your own TV show. And so after just a bit of talking and jamming, enjoying life overall, we walked to 7-Eleven, we grabbed some ingredients to make the pisco sour, we get some microwavable burritos in case we had the munchies. Then, after I walked him back to his car as he parked right in the neighborhood down the road, he was like, "Are you sure you're going to come back, man? Are you sure the decision's right for you?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." All I could think of was just I wanted to get the hell out of California. So I had to go straight home. I packed everything up as fast as I could. I had no sleep the entire night. I was packing everything up like Tetris. After I was done packing, I walked up to my apartment, make sure I had everything I needed. I remember there was toilet paper falling out of the trunk of that car, which was pretty dangerous because you can get shanked or shot having that stuff around you during this time. This is the only clip I have of me walking the apartment and back. This is me walking up towards the apartment. It's unfortunate I do not have the footage of me walking up to my unit up the stairs, which is right here. You see this picture. I don't have pictures of me going up and down the stairs. It wasn't a thing back then. This is the only video I have. It's been regurgitated and recycled many times on many of my traveling videos, especially after 2022 when I did my California remasters. So as I hop in my car and turn the keys to the apartment, I drive on the I-5 north towards Los Angeles. And as I get towards Los Angeles, it starts to clear up and become sunny. And I remember what was crazy is I was able to see the wide open spaces, the clear blue sky and the sun and the green mountains around it, seeing the Hollywood sign, the downtown skyline, and everything in between. I literally felt like I was on another planet or I was dreaming. I was like, pinch me, I must be dreaming because I wasn't sleeping the entire night. And because I had all my stuff in my car where you couldn't see the back out of it or barely the sides, I saw a cop on a motorcycle look like he was going to pull me over. But I guess it was because the cop was like, whatever, he's leaving, I don't care, and then just drives all around me. And so as I get out of the downtown area, which took me 30 minutes, which can usually take you between an hour and a half to 3 hours or more, so that just goes to show how there were no cars on the road. I was in Sherman Oaks, which is where Fast Times at Ridgemont High was filmed. The vibe of that area felt like the 80s and 90s movies, like License to Drive, felt like Good Burger, Stand and Deliver, and so many other movies that took place there in the 80s and 90s. I was in the middle of a neighborhood in Sherman Oaks. I still remember it vividly. It was quite a rainy day. I was like, how am I going to get to Fresno? I don't have any gas. I was a quarter tank empty, and I realized all the weeks I spent sitting around my apartment smoking pot and eating Mexican food and laying around catches up with you. So I had to think of something really fast. I was like, I can't take any Instacart orders because you can barely fit anything in the passenger seat as it is. I had papers and folders stacked up on top of it and other stuff towards the back. And so I took the cheapest orders I can get, which was $7 and like 5 items or less, which took like 10 minutes at a time. It did not take long at all. I remember when I was doing deliveries in the neighborhoods, you just had that vibe of License to Drive, and the pictures were pretty cool. So it just seemed like something you would see in like all those fancy houses and mansions and all the places took place in Los Angeles. So after doing a couple of those orders, I scrapped up enough money to fill up my tank. I was at the gas station, and as I was filling up, I was getting a selfie of that jacket unzipped and looking like I had no sleep for days. And I just like, yeah, living the dream, you know? And so after I filled up my tank, I drive further up north towards the San Joaquin Valley and the Grapevine Mountains. And that was a game changer. Just being on top of that mountain going down. Normally the smog covers up most of the area, so you can't really see it very well when you're going down. But everything was just so clear. Like you could see the whole entire valley in Bakersfield. It was unbelievable just how clean the air quality was. It felt like you were on a spaceship just going down the planet's surface. I was in Bakersfield doing a couple of deliveries there too. Had a couple of pictures of like the Valley Plaza Mall and all that stuff. And I was just like so unbelievable just how clean the air quality was. I felt like I was still in San Diego because I was able to see how clean the palm trees were. I was able to see the mountains around it. I was able to breathe fresh air. I was driving around old neighborhoods I lived at and was just quite stunned at how clean the air quality was at this time. If anything, this virus saved the planet for a little while. And so after that, I get to Fresno and my destination to stay the night to head to Petaluma. But this is where things went south. So it was March 18, 2020. The night prior, I unpacked everything in my aunt's apartment, hoping to stay the night and just get back up to San Francisco the next day. This is just when things were getting weirder by the day. I remember, next thing I know, I get a call from my uncle saying, I'm not saying you're not welcome here, but you can't stay. And then he was saying it was because I had a huge risk of catching COVID because of all the deliveries in areas I was traveling to. And things were just getting weird, man. I was just like, I'm family and I'm being fucking picked out from everybody because I'm a risk of catching a disease. They acted like this was like the next Resident Evil, as if I was some kind of zombie or was bitten by a zombie, or the risk of being bitten by a zombie. Man, I swear, Resident Evil just predicted COVID decades ahead of time. But then again, wasn't that virus planned out decades ahead of time? So things were just getting more weird. To me, it was like a swine flu 2.0 freak out. Most people didn't even remember the swine flu because clearly they didn't learn anything from it because the same thing happened in 2009. And so things were just getting more weird. I remember I was doing the deliveries at the Costco after sleeping in at noon every day to recover from my sleep debt, but no sleep for 36 hours. I remember things were getting weird at the Costco and doing deliveries day by day. They were starting to do a maximum occupancy of 180 people, and the rest of us had to stand outside in little freaking red dots and stars, 6 feet apart. It was stand on your dots, wait for your turn, and comply. That was literally what it was like. And people just complied to it and didn't question anything. And that to me was just like, what is going on? Like, what in the world is wrong with these people? And so, of course, every order I did with Instacart, I had to cancel toilet paper or some kind of Lysol cleaning product. Every single order, even though it was on the news saying that it's no longer in stock as well as people buying and hoarding it. So there's that. And I remember at this time, all 500 of my fans and followers, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they're gone. You know, all 500 of them were gone, and I'm pretty much forgotten. No one remembers me anymore. My days of becoming the mini influencer is over. And then this quarantine happens. And so after the same thing every day, sleeping on a couch till noon, doing deliveries and having to stand on the red dots and scars, and then having to cancel toilet paper or any kind of cleaning products on every single order with customers messaging and yelling at me saying, they need the toilet paper, I need that, please, 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 I need it, oh my god, that's why I ordered it, they said they had it, what the, and it was just, oh my freaking god, it was so overwhelming and extremely annoying. And so I couldn't stay in that area. I didn't even want to stay in California at all, especially after the quarantine began. We weren't allowed to do much of anything. I was like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of here. And so I was at the Costco doing the orders and canceling toilet paper, of course. I was on the phone with my uncle telling him, like, dude, I'm not saying I'm coming over your place, but I just want to get out of California and go back to Cincinnati. And so he said, yes, agreed. And I was like, but dude, I don't have any money. I was an idiot and decided to sit around and do nothing as opposed to work during the time of my apartment in San Diego. And then so he made a deal with me, and it was give him an ounce of weed, which is worth $100 for what I paid for, and get enough gas money to leave because Napa Sonoma did some kind of vote on not buying recreational weed in his area anymore. I don't know what it was. So after that, I bought the ounce of weed, and I drove all the way up to Petaluma, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like a Wild Western drug deal with a thunderstorm next to it, next to the mountains. I remember the house was all boarded up with tarp and plywood everywhere, and it looked like poverty camouflage. I remember seeing the dark clouds and the lightning far enough behind the mountain of Petaluma. And this is my literal definition of money laundering. He literally cleaned every single dollar bill with hand sanitizer. You can just hear it crisping and shining like new. So when we couldn't just do it like normal. We had to social distance at the same time. We had to extend our arm just like Inspector Gadget and run around in a circle, twisting our hips around just to get the stuff we traded for. And I would hear the dog bark in, and every window was covered in either plywood or tarp. And he said they're all inside, and they acted as if something deadly was going to happen and kill them. And I also had to trade in some of the stuff I had in my apartment, like that desk and a couple of mini plastic drawer bins, just to save space for my car to be able to sleep in it and actually see out of it so I don't get pulled over in the future like that incident in Los Angeles. After that, I drive to Sacramento. I'm taking pictures at the fuel station. I was on the phone with my parents, and my grandparents let me know I'm going back home. And after that, I drive up to the 180, the same area I came in, and it literally felt like a reverse of entering California. It's like I come in and then reverse it and go back. And some of my music and traveling videos have that feature, and that's because of the memory of that incident. I remember as I was getting up towards Truckee, there was more snow as I got there, and there was that rest area I was at with a really nice view of the pine trees close to the redwoods. I remember being on top of the mountain. I think it was like in the third, I think it was like 25 degrees or something like that. I don't really know. I remember as I was leaving California, I think the sun finally went down and there were no checkpoints or stops, thank God, because I heard that's what they were going to do. And so after that, I remember I was driving in the desert, and it was perfect footage for my traveling video. I'm so glad I got some of that footage, but I didn't get a whole lot of footage of the stuff I wanted. Oh, man. But it was a game changer seeing how empty the desert is. I remember as I got to the rest area the next night, the toilet paper to the bathrooms had a bar with a lock on the side of it. I don't know if that was previously there or if they heard about the toilet paper incident or what. But man, that was some pretty funny stuff. And I slept in the car, putting stuff all scattered around with blankets here and there so nobody could see them in there. Then I wake up, the sun comes up, I drink my half-open to empty Monster and sip on it and drive to the nearest gas station. I was like industrial material. Literally, I could just get up, drink a bit of water, pick up the half-empty energy drink that I left in my cup holder, and it's really cold from the desert night cold. And just drink on it and keep driving. After getting another caffeinated beverage, I drive on the road and I head east to Winnemucca. And I remember the original picture I've had in April where it had the nice sunny view with the snow on the mountain on the top and the grass and wide open spaces. But then you see what it looks like when you're back there and it's all brown and desert-like, but there's still snow on the mountain and it hasn't come to life yet. And it's just a complete shock. You see this view of it originally, then you see the view of it next after this. And so I got a selfie of myself with it, and just, man, look at that. I looked like I had no sleep for days. But I did sleep roughly in a car. I didn't have any sleep right prior to that. So that's why I look like shit, just like a night shift worker. And as you continue driving, I remember I just see the sun come up and the clouds at the same time. And after driving some more, I remember seeing wide open spaces and clouds and snow on top of the mountains and snow on top of other mountains like 30 miles away and all this wide open space. I remember getting footage of this one side behind the mountain where I'm looking west, and you can just see the downhill extending for miles, and you see the wide open flat spaces and mountains around it, and you can just see beyond that and beyond that. I felt like it was about maybe 30 to 50 miles of what I saw in that open area. It felt like you were so unbelievably small in such a gigantic area kind of feeling. You could probably see the coast of California if you had binoculars. I mean, it just felt like that anyway. I can't remember what town I was at in Nevada. It was on the way. If I were to look at a map, I can figure it out and I'll put it on the screen later. I was doing a grocery store here, which was also called Ralph's. I forget the name, but I'll have to research that later, too. It's been so long. There was a couple of cool pictures I got, something like Cool Beans and delivering in the neighborhoods where you just see wide open space around it and just mountains where people drive their trucks and four-wheelers and dirt bikes on. And after that, I drive east out in some other parts of Nevada. It looked like they were on development, but suddenly abandoned. Then I remember I got to Utah, and I was in Bonneville, Salt Flats. And that, too, was an extraordinary view. That felt like another planet. Just seeing what it looked like when you first got there and seeing what it looked like later. You know, there was water around it where I felt it was going to flood around it, but now it's all empty and dried out with salt reflecting the sunlight. There was just, like, no other place like that. And I remember after that, I got to Colorado. And so before we get to the Colorado state line, I just want to add to the rest area that I stayed at between the borderline of Utah and Colorado that I forgot to add. So to look at this rest area stop, I remember seeing this years ago, and it still feels like I'm in it today sometimes. Like, it was such a unique area. It feels like you're on the surface of planet Mars in an area that has life and is warmer. And it was just another world seeing that. I wish I had videos of me walking to the end of those stairs, but that wasn't really an idea or a thing for me back then compared to what I have ideas for now. You know, that wasn't really a thing back then, record your life stories. People actually used to mock at you for that. It's like, dude, you record every little thing around you and every little movement. Like, you are freaking weird, you know? Back at that time, it was weird, but now everybody's doing it. You know, they're just sheeple. So, I get to the Colorado state line, and I remember it was not much different than Utah. It was still a desert. But as you drive further out east, you just start to see the brown get lighter, and then you go further and there's snow in the mountains and the dark edges, and it looks like it's starting to have more source of life as you go. There's that one part of the highway I remember driving on, there's a state trooper just in the middle of it, and you can see it miles away. I forget the name of this small town I was at. I think it was Gypsum or something like that. I was at the Costco doing Instacart orders, and I noticed the toilet paper section was full even at the little grocery stores around it. And that to me was like, it's kind of funny how the smaller towns in Colorado away from the big cities don't give a shit. Nobody had masks on, nobody was freaking out. It was like nobody even knew this virus was here. And so I drive further out to Eagle where people were more aware of it. It seemed like it was the bigger towns or cities people were like more strict about the mask rules, mandates, bullshit. Or just bought toilet paper. But even at this place, there wasn't too much toilet paper in it from what I can remember. It was just an ordinary day, like nothing happened, but at the same time they're aware of COVID, like they just didn't give a fuck. So I remember being in the parking lot, seeing the mountains on top of the other side with the snow on top, and I remember doing some deliveries around it where you have like the Colorado house suburban like neighborhoods. I remember being at the one road town in Eagle, and it was a lot like Granby, except you don't have some deranged guy in a freaking bulldozer with concrete walls around it, just smashing stuff everywhere. But it had the same kind of looks to it. It's a one road town with everything on that one road, kind of stereotypical Colorado town. It was quite an interesting area. It definitely gave a vibe in the history of the way what it was like in the Wild West. And even their grocery stores had like toilet paper and everything, and it was just pretty funny. I remember being on that giant roundabout where it was the grocery store, a gas station, back to the highway on both sides. That roundabout was pretty cool. It was like you see one mountain, another mountain, kind of like San Diego. Then after that, I go through the Denver skyline, and after that, I drive further east back to Cincinnati. And there really wasn't much of it. It was just typical cornfield Midwestern look after that. And that brings the end of my traveling life in 2020 until around November when I went to Florida. And this was when I am back home. So, well, here we go. This is the first picture I have of me coming back home. I found my funny glasses I wear sometimes to go to my job. So this is a great way to start the picture of how 2020 went. I was in the small bedroom, setting up a bar and organizing it, making it feel like I have space and peace. Bartending was a huge thing for me back then. I was wanting to start a company of bars and restaurants and have a nostalgia bar and have a world tourist attraction kind of lifestyle to it. This is kind of when bars and drinking didn't really become a thing anymore. And I don't really drink anymore myself, but I was getting creative. I did drink one or two of them, but not very much. I sipped it enough to get drunk. You know, just to sip test it. I remember pretending the bars and the bottles on top of that desk was like a chess game, like the government, how they control us. They move this around and move that around, and people respond to this in that kind of way. And it does kind of blow my mind today just how crazy that thought was and accurate it is compared to now, you know. You can't even go outside without the fear of being jumped anywhere. It's not America anymore, or the government finding ways to fucking get you and fucking discriminate you. That was really about it. There really wasn't too much to add.